Good morning, students. I hope so. Everyone is good and everyone is fine. So, in our previous lecture, we have started off with this new chapter, which is globalization and the Indian economy, which is from the subject economics. So, in our previous lecture, the topics that we have discussed. First of all, I have introduced you with this chapter what globalization is all about in current scenario and how it basically impacts the Indian economy. Then we have talked about the production that is happening across these countries with these MNCs. With the help of MNCs, how we spread up this production side all over the all across these countries. Then what is the interlinking of production links that is there between these countries, how they adapt these linking things. And then we have talked about the foreign trade and integration of markets. So these were the topics that we have covered till now. Now the topics that we are going to covering in this particular lecture will be, first of all, we are going to discuss now what the main thing, that is what is globalization. So here the chapter is all about globalization, so we'll get to know what does globalization mean here. Then the factors that are enabled globalization currently. Basically, in the current scenario, how globalization is impacting our economy and how it is developing across the countries. Then we'll take one example using IT in globalization. Now there will be very next topics that we are going to cover today, mainly globalization and the factors only. So not much to do, but they are very much elaborated topics. So that's why I'm taking only these two topics. Then we will discuss about the homework solutions that I have covered in previous lecture and the homework that I will be assigning you in this particular lecture. So please be ready with your book, your notebook and one pen in your hand. We are starting off with this lecture now. So first of all, the first topic that we are going to take is what is globalization. So in your previous classes also, you have read about this and learned about it. What does globalization mean? Basically, in the past 2 or 3 decades, more and more MNCs have been looking for locations around the world which would be cheap for their production. So basically, here this chapter is all about production side that is happening with the help of MNCs. They are linking the different countries all together with this production side. So basically it is happening from the past 2 or 3 decades that more and more MNCs have been looking for locations around the world which could be cheaper for them for their production. So mostly the foreigner and the other countries, what they do, they invest with the by these MNCs in these countries that can raise the level of profit more and cut off the cost production for them. So most of the time they keep such countries in their mind which can give them cheaper labors or cheaper locations. So basically these foreign investments by these MNCs search for these kind of countries only that have been rising their profit more than their cost production. At the same time, the foreign trade between these countries have been raising rapidly. Now, if you have seen also that before that there was only limited trading that was happening from India to other countries, and in different countries also we have seen it that the change that have came in the foreign trade between countries have been rising rapidly, and it is rising a lot more than we can even imagine. Then large part of the foreign trade is also controlled by these MNCs. So majorly जितनी भी ट्रेडिंग सिस्टम होती है, जितना भी we are covering all these foreign trade or foreign investment, raw material, products, big companies, they all are situated and controlled by many of these MNCs only. Like for instance, the car manufacturing plant of Ford Motors in India not only produces cars for the Indian market, it also exports cars to other developing countries and export cars component for its many factories around the world. So majorly, if you have seen it that there is a car manufacturing plant, you have heard the name also, Ford Motors, that is there in India. They are not only producing cars that are available in the Indian market, but at the same time they are exporting all these cars to the other developed countries, and they are exporting their own car components to the other factories of these different companies through the help of these MNCs only. So they are taking the help of MNCs so that they can reach out to these different countries and they can export their material to earn more and more profit, not from their country but from other countries as well. Likewise, the activities of most of the MNCs involve substantial trade in goods and also services. So basically what does this mean? That likewise activities of most of the MNCs, they are involving the substantial trade. Substantial trades are basically in parts. They distribute the trading system in parts. They carry or transport the trading system in parts of all the goods and services they are dealing with any of the companies they are situated to. So the result of the greater foreign investment and greater foreign trade has been greater integration of production and markets across these countries. So majorly the results that have been gained because of this substantial trade only of these goods and services that they are providing has been a greater foreign investment. They are contributing more like these countries are earning a lot more profit out of it, and the greater foreign investment is equaling to this greater foreign trade that is happening, and has been greater integration of the production and market across these countries. Now this globalization is this process of rapid integration of interconnecting between these countries. So what does globalization carries here? Globalization is a kind of a process that it is involved with which is kind of linking or interconnecting different countries all together and elaborating all the markets all together and earning a lot more profit for their own countries, for the MNCs, and basically for the economy as well. So these MNCs are kind of playing a major role in the globalization process because they are the linking side or we can say the interlinking process that is happening between across these countries, and they are helping in the production cost reduction and helping them in the distribution of their own products with other countries as well. So basically to provide a link, to provide basically a sort of help and connection between these different countries, MNCs play a very major role in the globalization process. Now more and more goods and services, investments and technology are moving between countries. Now before that, like 2 or 3 decades before, there were only raw materials or food stuff that was like being exchanged between the countries. Now we are exchanging more and more goods and services. Investments we are doing with the other countries. We are investing in their shares, in their companies. Then technologies has been also being exchanged, and they are moving between the countries in a very rapid way. So most of the regions of the world are in close contact with each other than a few decades back. Now just because of the help of these linking side which is there with these MNCs, now all the major regions of the world, they are closely connected with each other than a few decades back we can ever see. So the relationship that we have with United States of America currently, or Europe, or any other country, it is developing more and more strong because of this foreign investment that we are doing, or trading system that is happening between the countries. The relations are getting stronger because of these things only. Beside of the movements of goods, services, investments in technology, there is one more way in which these countries can be connected. Now apart from all these things that is happening, the movement of all the goods, all the services that is happening, investment that is happening, technology that is happening, there is one more way also that these countries can be connected, and this is through the movement of people between these countries. Now basically the people who travel from their countries to our country, and the people who travel from our country to different countries, this particular movement is also kind of a linking side of between this globalization process. So basically tourism kind of, we can say that tourism or the movement of people between these countries who are coming from work or for study or for tourism also, and the movement of these exchange of people who are are currently situated in the foreign countries, but their like motherland is India. So basically they are also interlinking these countries. Like people usually move from one country to another in search of better income, better jobs or better education. So like many of these Indian students currently are studying in these foreign universities and schools for better education. Some people are working there for better income or like better jobs they are searching for. So it's not that the Indians are there who are going foreign and they're settling there. Basically they are settling there or they must be temporarily settling there for some better income or better jobs or any better in education that might be they are getting there. So in the past few decades, however, there has not been much increase in the movement of people between countries due to various restrictions. Like this lockdown just happened, COVID-19, and before that also there was certain restriction that was happening between the countries. So the movement of people is quite restricted. Like in 2008, there was a major recession that came up, and many of the people have to leave the places from the foreign land, and they have to come back to their motherland again. So that's why there were many situations that have came up, and because of that only there has not been much increase in the movement of people between countries due to various restrictions. Now, what are the basic factors that has enabled the globalization here? What are the major factors that has enabled globalization? The first and foremost thing is the technology. Without the technology, there is no connection, no interlinking connection that could have ever happened and make this globalization process work. So basically, because of technology, we have seen a rapid improvement in technology has been the one major factor that has stimulated the globalization process. So majorly the improvement that have been seen in this interlinking process and basically in the globalization process is just because of the more and more usage of technology, and developed technology has one of the major factor that has stimulated the globalization process. Now for instance, the past 50 years have seen several improvements in transportation technology. Now before that, we have just talked about in the previous chapter about the lifelines of national economy, the development that we have seen in different transportation trading system and technology that have came up. पहले सिर्फ normal railway lines होती थी. Now there are advanced railway lines, metro stations, airports, rapid airports are also there who give you like जल्दी से जल्दी आपको पहुंचाने की कोशिश करते हैं. So basically these modes of transportation has an involved technology within themselves, and that's why they are helping in the globalization process. So this has made much faster deliveries of goods across long distance possible at very lower cost. Now just because of this help of technology, we are getting much faster delivery. As if you have booked any order from these online site, just and you might be getting in 2 or 3 days or most probably 5 days, just because of this technological system that we are having. So this has made much faster delivery of goods across long distances possible at lower cost. Now even more remarkable have been the developments in the information and communication technology in recent times. So basically the IT department has developed so much today, and because of that only we are at the verge of the advanced technological zone. So moreover, this remarkable time that we are seeing currently has been the development because of the information and communication technology only, which is the IT technology. Like in recent times, we have seen that the technology in the areas of telecommunications, computers, internet has been changing rapidly. So if we start from the 90s, they were only very simple computers that have came up without internet. So that was the first side that just these IT companies have developed. After that, there were many different technologies that came up. Advanced computers came, internet came, advanced mobile phones, apps that we are using currently, these different apps, Facebook, Instagram, or any other shopping sites, online shopping sites are there, gaming sites are there. So basically All these things are involved under this information and communication technology, and they are developed for the well-being, and basically they are also a linking connection between the different countries here, because we are able to use their products, we are able to link with the advanced technology as much as possible. So basically these telecommunication facilities involve telegraph, telephone, including mobile phone, fax, etc. They are used to contact one another around the world and to access information instantly and to communicate from remote areas. Basically, if you are from any part of the world, these telecom facilities basically connect you to different people across the world now also. Now it is not situated within the boundaries. It is you can contact to any of your members who are situated in the foreign countries. You can connect to them by these applications or mobile phones or fax or any like mails. These applications are also coming up like WhatsApp calling and everything. So without any cost you can do this. You just need internet for that, and you can do international calling also through WhatsApp. Now this has been facilitated by the satellite communication devices. So now how all these things are possible? Basically these things are possible through the satellite communication devices. So every company, like आप किसी भी company का आपने connection ले रखा है, it could be Airtel, Idea, Vodafone, any Reliance, Jio, any communications devices are there. They are basically having their own satellite communication rights, and from that only they facilitate and give you all these things that is possible, like all these network, mobile network having, or phone calling you can do. You can play use these particular different apps, you can call different people. So this is only possible because of this satellite communication devices. As you would be aware, these computers have now entered almost every field of activity. Now these computers are now being into laptops, then mini laptops have also come up. So basically they have developed and they are coming up in every field of activity that is possible. If you have seen it also, like if you are watching this particular video, you must be watching in your laptop or a mobile phone, that is possible. So basically it has entered in every field of activity if you can ever imagine. Now you might have also ventured into the amazing world of internet, where you can obtain and share information on almost anything you want to know. So basically the internet is something today that is the current demand or current need of an hour. We can see that because without internet you can't even watch this video that you are watching currently, you can't listen, you can't use any of these applications that are necessary, or you basically it is connecting you, this internet is connecting you to the entire world here. So the amazing world of internet, it is basically there where you can obtain and share all the kind of information that you want with your friends, families, relatives, anyone, and almost anything you want to know. So basically through the help of internet, if you want to like know any detail about anything, you are not able to understand anything, you can just Google it or you can search on the internet and you will get the details. So internet also allows us to send instant electronic mail, that is email, that you give us a test on, or you can send your homework on. So that is just because of the help of this internet only, that allows you to send instant electronic mail, that is email, and talk, which is voicemail, across the world at negligible cost. So basically they are not involving much of cost system, that's just the internet cost that you have to pay to your rental postcards, that's it. So it is very cheap, it is very much useful currently, and that's why people are involved with these current technologies that is possible. Basically this electronic mail and the talk mail, and now video calls as well. Now these video chatting apps are there, video calling apps are there, just connecting you throughout the world. Now we are going to take one example, that is the using IT in globalization. So basically this information and communication technology has played a major role in spreading out production of services across countries. We can see here with this particular example, like a new magazine published for London readers is to be designed and printed in Delhi. So basically, there's a new magazine that is published for London readers to be designed and printed in Delhi here. So the text of the magazine is sent through internet to the Delhi office. So whatever these London readers want to be there in their magazine, it is being sent through internet to the Delhi office. Now the designers in the Delhi office get orders on how to design the magazine from the office in London using telecommunication facilities. So what they are doing, they are letting know about what material they want. They are telling them the design they want through the help of these telecommunication facilities on the phone, or basically through video calling app or anything they are like using it currently. So the designing is done on a computer. So basically the designing of the magazine is going to be done on the computer, and after printing the magazine are sent by air to London. So जो भी इसका printing होगा, जैसे भी इसका print होगा magazine का, how they are going to reach to London by air transports. Even the payment of money for designing and printing from a bank in London to a bank in Delhi is done instantly through the internet by e-banking. So we have a current solution where you don't have to exchange cash. You can just transfer the money through e-banking system. That is transferring the money. They can transfer the money from one bank account to the another bank account. So they are also using this electronic medium only through the internet by e-banking and giving the payment of whatever have been cost to them. So basically all these things are involved, and they are using IT in the globalization. So you can use this IT thing very much, and it is being used in the entire world now. Like anything you want, अगर आपको अपना कोई production side, आपको अपना design करवाना है from any foreign country, you can do it right now with the help of these electronic mediums, telecommunication facilities and internet. So that's how this is one of the example that is shown here, that how using IT in globalization helps for them. Then we have another thing that is very much the main factor that has enabled the globalization, which is liberalization of foreign trade and foreign investment policy. So let us return to the example of imports in the Chinese toys in India. So I have told you about the Chinese toys, example of Chinese toy that is here in India. So suppose the Indian government puts a tax on import of toys. Basically now we are going back to example of Chinese toys in India. Suppose the Indian government puts a tax on imports of these toys. So what would happen? Those who wish to import these toys would have to pay tax on this, and because of the tax, buyers will have to pay a higher price on the imported toys. Now the Chinese toys will no longer be as cheap in the Indian markets, and imports from China will automatically reduce. So what is the major strategy here that they can strategize about how this foreign trade is going to evolve and going to spread in our markets or not. So basically every item that is coming from other countries, they are giving them certain exporting duties, or they are giving them taxes also to like import your some sort of items to our country. So basically if Indian government puts a tax on imports of toys, what would happen that जो tax है उसकी जो rate है उसका जो price है वो बढ़ जाएगा, and those who wish to import these toys would have to pay a lot more amount just because of the tax that is imposed on them, and because of the tax only जो buyers है they also have to pay a higher price on the imported toys. Now the Chinese toys will not be longer as cheap as the Indian markets, and imports from the China will automatically reduce because the people were buying it because these products were cheap. अगर वो cheap नहीं होंगे तो लोग उसको buy नहीं करेंगे. So these Indian toy makers will prosperous. All the things that is happening. Wait. What they will do? They will basically the Indian toy makers will prosper, and उससे उनका जो production है, उनका जो sale जो है वो ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगा, क्योंकि चाइनीज प्रोडक्ट से उनका जो प्रोडक्ट है वो ज़्यादा बेटर लगेगा उनको. So the tax on imports is an example of trade barrier. So tax could be one of the like helping hand, or we can say that can be an example of trade barrier. मतलब जो भी ट्रेडिंग सिस्टम दूसरी कंट्री से होती है, they can set a kind of a limitation or they can create a barrier because some restrictions have been set up now. Just because of the taxing on these import duties, it is called a barrier because some restrictions have been set up. Now the governments can use the trade barriers to increase or decrease foreign trade and to decide what kind of goods and how much of each should come into our country. Now because of these barriers only, the our products are not doing well. What they can do, they can apply more tax on these particular products. They can increase or decrease the foreign trade according to them to decide what kind of goods and how much of each of them could be possible, and how much it should come into our country. So the Indian government after the independence had put more and more barriers into these foreign trade and foreign investment, so that our Indian economy could increase and their investment should be very limited, so that they should not earn much of the profit from our countries. So that's why India have also banned a lot more items and apps from China, so that they have created certain barriers so that they should not earn more profit from our country, which they were actually taking it out. Now this was also considered necessary to protect the producers within the country that is there from the foreign competition. So we are having a lot of producers which are going through these losses because of the foreign competition that is happening. So the industries were just coming up in the 1950s and 60s, and the competition from imports at that stage would not have allowed these industries to come up. So majorly the competition from the imports at that stage would have not been allowed into these industries to come up. Thus the Indian allow import of these essential items such as machinery, fertilizer, petroleum, etc. तो जिस चीज़ की हमारे पास कमी नहीं है या फिर हमारे पास इतना सफिशिएंट नहीं रहा है, तो इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने सिर्फ उन्हीं चीज़ों को अलाउ किया है टू कम अप एंड वी कैन टेक द all these essential items only as an importing system, that which is machinery, fertilizers, petroleum, etc. And note that all developed countries during the early stages of development have given protection to domestic producers through a variety of means. So in the developed countries, in the early stages of development, they have protected their own producers more than any from these foreign trade, much mainly from a variety of means. Like starting around 1991, some far-reaching changes in policy were made in India. The government decided that the time has come for Indian producers to compete with producers around the globe. So it felt that the competition would improve the performance of producers within the country, since they would have to improve their quality. So but they wanted that their own domestic producers should reach to a level where they can sense the competition and improve their quality level. So from 1991, there were many changes in the policies that have been made in India. They have regarded that they have included many foreign investment and traders to come up and sell their products in India. So the government decided that the time has come for the Indian producers also to compete with the producers around the globe, and they felt that the competition would improve the performance of the producers within the country, since they would have to improve their quality for that. So this decision was supported by powerful international organizations also to improve. They have also included this particular thing in their country level, not only in India but other countries have also involved these things in them. So thus the barriers on foreign trade and foreign investment were removed to a very large extent. Now you have seen that there जितनी भी बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज है, H&M हो गया, फॉरएवर न्यू हो गया, ये क्लोथिंग कंपनीज होती हैं, बड़े बड़े ट्रेडिंग कंपनीज होती हैं, they have come up and they have like being a bigger part of this foreign trade has come up, and it is to come up in a very large extent. So this means that the goods could be imported and exported easily, and also the foreign companies could set up factories and offices here, removing the barriers or restrictions set up by the government in what is known as liberalization. So with liberalization of trade, businesses are allowed to make decisions freely about what they wish to import or export, and the government imposes much less restrictions than before, and it's therefore said to be more liberal now. Now I would like to tell you about the homework solution. So today's lecture was all about this. So the first question that I have given you, the exercise question that you have to do, was on the page number 59. So the first question is that would you say Ford Motors is a MNC? Why? So the Ford Motors has production facilities spread over 29 countries of the world, and it can be termed as MNC. What is foreign investment, and how much did Ford Motors invest in India? The investment which comes from abroad is called foreign investment, and Ford Motors is called the foreign investment. They have invested 1700 crores. Now question number 3, by setting up their production plants in India, MNCs such as Ford Motors tap the advantage not only of the large markets in that country such as India provide, but also the lower cost of production. Explain the statement. So to reduce their cost and maximize the profit, MNCs generally set up production plants where they are close to the market, skilled and unskilled labor is available at a low cost, and availability of other factors of production is there. Now question number 4, why do you think the company want to develop India as a base as manufacturing car components for its global operations? Discuss the following factors. So the first is that a number of local manufacturers are supplying car components to their Chennai plant, and the MNC means that they can supply to their other plants in the world. The presence of several local manufacturers who supply auto parts of Ford Motors. Cost of labor and material is very low in India, which will result in more profit for MNC. Third, the closeness to a large number of buyers in India and China, so the component can be supplied cheaply to other MNC car manufacturers in India and China also. Now in the fifth question, if you want to write it down, you can. Like there's not much of the things, so I'm just discussing it here. If you want to write it down, you can write. Like basically the MNC is a company that has already made a name in the market for its particular product, and it is occupied with a huge financial capability to expand the other countries. A company that owns or controls production in one or other more countries, they invest in other countries beside their home country, and the companies, they may not have huge financial resources. They own or control production in only one country, their home country, and they do not invest in other countries possible. That was the answer of question number 6. Question number 5 you don't have to do here. And question number 7, America, Japan and most countries in Europe are developed countries with immense wealth. These countries have a large amount of surplus funds, so that's why they work in the MNCs. So, and the homework for the day is that do the in-text exercise question that is given on page number 62. There are 3 questions that you have to do. Please do it in a rough, not in the main, till the time you get the solution. So that's it for today's lecture. If you have any queries related to the lecture today, there's online lectures available on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. You can ask me, or you can WhatsApp me also your queries. And rest, if you have queries related to homework solution or homework, you can also let me know your queries on these particular days. Or if you are coming to school, you can ask me in school as well. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture, and please take care of yourself.